Start
This
the recording.
conference will now be
Okay.
recorded.
Okay, there we go. The time being 4:46 p.m. I'd like to call the May 21st.
And we lost him.
Before we get started, please mute your microphone during the meeting unless you want to speak. Otherwise, background noise will interfere with the meeting. As chair of the Tilton Select Board, due to the COVID-19/coronavirus crisis, and in accordance with Governor Sununu's emergency order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically, and these reasons shall be reflected in the minutes. Please note, there's no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that A, we are providing public of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically may call the following conference call number at 1-866-899-4679. The access code is 817-026-71. Audio pin, just hit the
Joe, you're cutting out, in and out. Joe?
and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate remotely using your smartphone, tablet, or computer at global.gotomeet.me/town of Tilton/selectmen. This information can also be found on our website at tiltonnh.org under Meeting Schedule and Agendas, Board information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting via telephone conference and by GoToMeeting, and instructions are provided on the Tilton Town website at tiltonnh.org and at the town kiosk. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting that a member of the public wishes to speak or be read. If you are a member of the public listening in and have questions, please write your questions down, and at the end of each agenda item, I will ask if there are any questions from the public before we move on to the next agenda item. Please state your name and address and then ask your question. E, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please email web@tiltonnh.org, which will be monitored during the meeting. F, we will adjourn the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it taken during a roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law.
Constantino here. There's one in the room and one joining us shortly.
Bog present, no one in the room.
Okay. Jessamine present, no one in the room. Eric?
Present, no one in the room. The door is closed, but there's 4 other people in the house.
John?
Scanlon present, I'm alone.
Okay. And Moynihan,
Yes, I am present and I'm alone in the house.
Joe?
Joe, we
yeah,
can't hear you.
yeah, hold on. I'm going to try this another way.
Peter has a fine flannel shirt on.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh, sounds much better.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know what's up with the Chromebook, or I don't know. So where are we at? We're at roll call attendance. The first one was Pat. I've heard you, Pat. I heard you, Peter. Did you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm here by myself. How about you, Eric?
I am here by myself in a room with the door closed, but there's 4 other people in the house.
Okay, John.
Just me, I'm by myself.
Okie dokie. And we have Leanne. Is there anybody there with you, Leanne?
No, I'm alone in the house.
Okay, terrific. The first, no, I can't, I can't connect my camera for some reason, so we'll dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance, unfortunately. The first item on our agenda is to review and/or approve the minutes of 5:14. The minutes went out, but it didn't go out that long ago. Did anybody have the opportunity to read them? Pat?
Yes, I have.
Peter?
Yes, I
Peter?
have.
Okay, I have as well. Eric?
Yes, I have.
John?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of the meeting on May 14th, 2020 as presented. Is there a second?
Bog, second.
Now we have a motion and a second. Discussion. Pat?
I'm good.
Peter?
Good.
Me at the bottom of page 2, very last line, it says no changes will be made to any current laws. Current laws doesn't make sense to me. Current laws. So just drop an S and then I'm good. Eric?
I'm good.
John?
Good.
Okay. Hearing no other discussion, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, roll call vote. Constantino?
Yes.
Fog, yes.
Peter? Jessamine, yes. Eric?
Byra, yes.
And Selectman Scanlon?
Yes.
Okay. Next thing on our agenda is Leanne Moynihan, the Land Use Coordinator, Land Use Report. And Leanne, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Joe. So since I last spoke to you, we've had a few projects that have moved along. Primarily, obviously, everyone's interested in the Honda project. The Honda project met with planning last month, the end of last month, and was continued to this month, but did get a public review. And there weren't a lot of issues at that time. The holdup was the zoning. There were a couple issues with zoning that they were waiting for, and zoning board met on Tuesday of this week, and they approved the final 2 variances that they needed. So that will be moving forward on Tuesday, the 26th, I think. For approval, I don't foresee any big issues coming up, but it'll be up to the board. So that meeting, if anybody wants to come in, will be remotely on the 26th at 6:30. We also have a couple other minor projects coming up. I don't know if I mentioned them last month. I don't know when they came up. Winnisquam Country Store is one. They're looking to expand into the adjacent lot there and clean up that lot. I understand that adjacent lot has been somewhat of an eyesore. So hopefully it's going to be a big improvement on that land. They're looking to put in maybe an ice cream and some picnic tables on that adjacent lot to the country store. And the only other project that's going to be coming to planning, probably not till next month, is Rowell Septic is moving its operation into 490 Laconia Road. So they're going to be starting some renovation. They want to clean that site up. It's also been vacant for quite a while. And it sounds like they're going to do some nice things on that property with landscaping and renovating that building. So that's going to be a much nicer piece of property in town. They got an approval. I told them they could start doing interior renovations because they want to use the office area without planning, but they will be coming with a full site plan. Probably they thought they would have their plans done by their engineer by June, so they might be coming to the June meeting. So those two the only projects that I have pending right now. The only other thing we have going on is the maps. Our maps that we're having done from Cartographics are approved. They have almost their final approval for me. They have one name change to do and send me the map. And once that change is done, those maps will be approved and complete, and we should be seeing our new maps. So that'll be nice. Those will be all online and GIS. So we're looking forward to that. So that's pretty much all I have for planning.
Okay.
Any questions?
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Leanne. Pat, do you have questions? Say what?
I'm all set.
Okay, Peter?
No, the only thing I can add to Planet Honda did receive conditional approval from the Sewer Commission on Tuesday. They just have to get, if they're doing anything industrial with car wash floor drains, to get approval from Franklin. But we've given them our approval. That's all.
Great. Yeah,
Okay.
Joanna told me that, and she's going to be sending me a memo, she said, so I can put it in the file. That's great. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yep.
Thank you, Peter. I have no questions. Eric?
I have no questions.
Thank you very much. John? John?
John,
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Leanne.
Okay, thank you very much. Jeannie or Tim, do you have anything to ask Leanne?
I'm all set. Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
Yep, same here. Thanks, Leanne. Appreciate you
Okay,
working on all that for Cartographics.
Okay, and Eric, I left a packet for you, just to make sure you got that. Oh, you'll get it when you get to the town hall. I left
I
the
have
packet.
it.
Okay.
I have it for you, Eric.
Meeting has a packet for you for the meeting on Tuesday. Okay.
I look forward to that reading.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. Thank you very much, Leanne. And the next item on our agenda is Selectmen's reports. And I'm up first this time. All town buildings remain closed to the public until June 1st per the governor's order, Stay at Home 2.0. We're waiting for an update from the governor's office regarding reopening. The Main Street Committee will be hosting a Main Street reopening ceremony on Saturday, May 23rd at 10 a.m. in front of the America statue at Town Hall. There'll be a ribbon cutting and I think some music and whatnot, so come on down. This week is National Public Works Week. So I'd like to take a moment to thank our Public Works crew. Kevin Duval, our Public Works Director, Peter Fife, our Foreman, Jack DeCormier, John Bilodeau, and Steve Kelly, our truck drivers/laborers, for all of their efforts on our behalf. This year's been a little tough with the coronavirus, and I'm proud to say that our DPW has risen to the challenge and haven't skipped a beat. For those of you who don't know, our DPW director has devised a plan that will allow residents to participate in spring cleanup for 4 consecutive Saturdays beginning May 30th through June 20th. Going to be regular spring cleanup type rules, so bring down your stuff. You can visit our website, tiltonnh.org, to learn more about how we will be conducting the cleanup. Okay, and on a personal note, let me see here. The seniors at Winnisquam Regional High School and some of their supporters had a parade on Wednesday, and I saw this parade, and I got to tell you, there was a lot of enthusiasm, and the police were clearing the way, and there were horns honking and people waving. It was good to see all the support for the senior class of 2020. And let me see. I just want to throw out there that we still have an issue with parking on Morrison Avenue. It hasn't gone away, so keep your thinking caps on, because still trying to come up with something that's going to work in the long term, and the long term will be here before you know it. And I was wondering, Peter, if there was any news from the Parks Commission about the 132 ball field.
Yeah, basically the Parks Commission is going to be waiting to get a set of plans so we can then start planning layout for possible options that could include a softball field and possibly something for frisbee disc golf.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, thank you. That takes care of me. Eric Pyra, you're up next.
I just have a neighbor that stopped me the other day at 20 Cedar Street, and their grass was torn up last year during the construction by the water department or the sewer department. I'm not sure which, but they were supposed to come back and replant it this spring, and they have not yet. So I don't know who to go to for that. So,
Jeannie, do you have any information on this?
It's the first time I've heard about it, so I think probably Peter or somebody from the water. I have no idea who created the problem.
I think it was
Peter?
the water. I think it was the water. But do I go, or does Jeannie go and ask the water department to take a look, or?
That's an interesting question.
Eric, if there's a sewer manhole, then it would be ours. If there's no manhole around, it was water. Because we were pipe bursting, except for we had to put in several manholes. So you'll know where those are because the metal covers are on the surface.
Well, this is the area where the pipe going from the street to the house was broken up. It's the Youngs, so they just want their front lawn back.
So I'm happy to ask whoever that is, but I don't know who's responsible. Any clue?
If it's on the sewer side, it'd be Rowell's, which is no problem. They've been very good with us so far because they did go up and do the High Street extension lot.
That's turning green.
Well,
and I
it would
believe
seem like a site visit is in order.
Yeah, if somebody
Okay.
wants to tell me who it is, I'm happy to make the call.
You want to take another look, Eric, and let Jeannie know?
Yeah, I'll send her a picture.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
I don't. That's not going to help. It's not going to help me.
I'll talk to them and say.
Okay.
Jeannie, I'll ask Johanna to take a look at it too.
Thank you. Thanks.
Sorry, Jeannie. You all said, Eric?
Yeah, for now.
Okie dokie. John Scanlon.
Okay, so yeah, I just same things that Joe was saying. It was really great to see that the high school was had their parade and people were out there cheering for them. I've been through a lot, but pretty much over the last weekend, I got the opportunity to give Mabel a bath, and she had a lot of algae and pollution type stuff that was running off of her, and so that cleaned up pretty good. I also went up to the uh, by the beginning of the trail opposite the police station in the perennial gardens and cleared out all of the dead brush and cuttings from the plants from the previous season and ornamental grasses. And then and Kevin was great. He cleaned up the pile that I made. Unfortunately, I made another one for him. So I made a pile of leaves out there that can be picked up, but they're all cleared out. They all look good. Um, and this Saturday at 7:30, I think I've got somebody that's going to volunteer to help me out, but going to clean the statue in the center of town and have it all nice and clean. Time for the ribbon cutting, which will happen at 10. So, and Kevin's going to help me set up some or drop off some cones and materials for um, providing safety in that for while it's being cleaned. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, John. Pat Constantino.
Thank you, Joe. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be at the ribbon cutting on Saturday as much as I would. There's a death in the family, so that takes precedent. Uh, the Going along with what Eric had said, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Maple Court, Rowell's did do the repair on the side of the road by the stone wall. But then shortly after they did the repair with seeding, loam and seeding, and then they put a little hay on top of it, the highway department came and rode right through it. So that still has to be repaired. I usually maintain that throughout the summer with grass and so on, but, cutting the lawn and raking and things, but I can't do that with that big rut in it. So that needs to be taken care of. The bus training is going to be on 11 a.m. on the 27th, and then shortly after that, my dog is barking. I'm sorry. Shortly after that, the bus will go to Kelly to be signed 8th through the 12th, June 8th through the 12th. I have written a driver policy. It's complete. We reviewed it with I should say 99% complete. I reviewed it with the executive committee. We went over it. We changed a few things. What has to be written now is an introduction, sort of kind of mission statement, maybe, if you would. So I would like to just have Jeannie look over it because there's different parts to it, different areas where they would call the executive committee if they had an issue, or they would call the police department if there were a bigger issue, or they would call town hall if there were a minor issue. So I'd like to differentiate the policy designates who to call. And then I believe I'm going to ask the board what they think. I think, and Jeannie chive in when, if you will, that we should probably send this off to either Primex or Radigan to approve or add their 2 cents into it? Because this
Yeah,
is
yes, I think I would start with Primex and see what they come back with.
Does the board want to see this before we do that, or what's their wish?
Peter?
we're in the middle of making just. You can see it now without the introduction. The introduction is just merely what our mission goal is, and you all know what that is. But there's parts of it that's law, and parts of it's going to be policy. So right now we have it in Google Drive.
Peter?
As long as the responsible parties review and approve it, I have no problem moving forward. I will trust their judgment. That's all.
I concur with Peter. Eric?
Me 3.
John?
Yeah, I'd just like to take a look, just because I want to know in case somebody asks me something, to say that
Okay.
I have seen it.
Well, that'll be on our dashboard, right, Pat?
Yes, we can have it put on the dashboard. Sure. No, that's
Okay.
not a problem. I don't know how to do that, but I'll surely get it on there.
Okay.
The other thing that we talked about when we met with the executive committee, we now have a phone. The telephone number is 273-1912, and how that's going. So we talked about what the policy is, and Iris is going to attempt to work up a policy, write up a policy, but we are going to have a shopping day on Wednesdays, obviously when COVID is allowing us to do this. And they are going to call this number by the Friday before and sign up, and then we'll construct a route for the driver. And then also on Mondays, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we will pick them up for lunches, and they will have to call Friday before that. We're holding off on Wednesday evenings, the music group, only because we want to find out how many would partake in that before we use the van to pick people up. So we're writing a policy for that. Cindy Ansky is looking into the software that they use to call in. So when a driver calls in and said, I can take this person, or a driver calls into that number, the person that has the phone at that time will type in this Excel sheet or the program and say, I have a person that needs to go here at such and such a date, and then whoever looks at it and is available that time, they can say, I can do this, and it will show up in this program. So we're working with Community Action Program on that. There's only one other thing that I actually saw in Jeannie's report in the FYI, and I just I'm taken back because I've run this program now for about 8 years, and I had no idea that it's the air conditioning program, and I wasn't consulted on when they were starting it and how it was going to happen. And I had asked this question a couple of weeks ago and didn't get an answer, and now it's in your FYI. Or just a heads up, I really would like to be consulted on this in the future. That's it. I think, oh, and I do have a non-public. If you would, Mr. Chairman, it's personnel. Thank you.
Okay. I believe we're going to have a non-public at the end, so we'll add that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And the last one is Peter.
Joe, the only thing I got would be if on June 1st the governor opens stuff, do you want the Parks Commission to get the bathrooms running at Riverfront and get the porta potty delivered to the Island Park?
Well, that's a conversation. Pat, would you like to start it?
Yes, I definitely would like that to happen, particularly the porta potties at the park, because the concert series will begin.
Peter?
The other advantage of the one at the park, every business now is pretty much shut down public bathrooms. Poor truck drivers, school bus drivers may be the same. Try to find a place to go to the bathroom. No one's going to let them. So if we put that up, then that may help some of the public in town. That's all I've got.
Okay. I'm a yes, providing the governor's orders allows for the reopening of the park. So I'm all for it. How about you, Eric?
I am all for it as well.
John?
Yes, definitely. I'm for it.
Okay, there you go, Pat. Peter?
Okay, that's all I had, Joe.
Okay. Are there any questions from the public? Hearing none. Oh my goodness, we can't do that. All right, I'm going to skip the public hearing because that starts at 6 p.m. And I'm going to go on to the next thing, which is Jeannie Forrester and the Town Administrator's Report.
So you guys are way ahead of yourself, so I could talk really slow. I don't know if I can eat up 45 minutes. So I got you my weekly update, and I see that it has the word draft on it, so just ignore that. There is a letter for your e-signature. It's to Eversource Energy. The letter was requested by Avatar in order to get some necessary assessing information. I'd ask you to go ahead and sign that if you haven't already.
Jeannie, I'm a little bit behind, so they don't have it yet, but they will shortly.
Okay. So basically the letter says that it's to Eversource. It says, per our assessor, we're requesting a detailed asset report for all transmission assets located in our municipality. We're asking them to provide their FERC code, the year put into service, asset description, as well as original cost. So that's what I'm asking you to sign. The second item under action has to do with household hazardous product collection program. Currently, you signed a letter wanting to participate in this program at an expense of $3,121. And Tim, I understand, I communicated with Lakes Region and they said we had not paid them yet, but I think the check just went out.
The check did just go out.
Yeah, but here's the situation. We have communities who are now backing out because of COVID and revenue shortfalls, that the anticipated issues that everyone is expecting in the municipality. So we have different communities backing out. And this is an opportunity for us to say, if we want to, let's not participate this year. Let's take that money back and put it where we might need it. So that's my question to you. If you want to withdraw for this year, or if you want to go forward.
Okay. Tim Pearson, I would like to know if you have any numbers on what we have actually produced to, our numbers for the last year or two.
What sort of number?
How
What
many
it costs us?
tires? Well, I know what it costs us, but what are we bringing there?
That I've never seen any documentation on what we have delivered. This is as I understand it, it's the public. They're able to drive up and drop off their hazardous waste.
Yeah, they bring paints and stuff like we don't take at the Department
Correct.
of Public Works. Okay,
Right.
just thought maybe if you had that information, that would help.
I've never
Pat,
seen anything that identified by town what the contributions were. They may have something, but I've never seen it.
Okay, Pat, what do you think?
I'll go along with whatever the board decides. I have no skin in the game on this one.
Peter?
To me, it's got to be conditional. If Franklin and Belmont opt out, those are the two spots we usually go to. Otherwise, now you're moving to like Laconia, Guilford, Meredith Way. At that point, I'd say no. If they're local, it'd be something to consider. That's it.
Uh,
Do we know who has backed out yet? Which towns?
They have not told us that. And we have, yes, it says in the my report that we need to let them know by June 4th. So I'll go back and ask Dave Jeffers if he'll give me that information.
Well, tell them it's sort of a moot point for Tilton if Belmont and Franklin both say, no, we're not doing it. Because it now becomes more of an inconvenience for us. So I would back out.
Okay. And
It's like which communities are in, which are out would be beneficial.
I'll see what I can find.
Thank you. That's it.
I kind of agree with Peter. Seems like we're looking to save money, but again, without knowing how much we actually use it, it might be a thing where, you know how we find couches and whatever out on Pest House Road and old tires and what have you, and that we have places for those. I hate to think that somebody's going to dump paint thinner along the creek or whatever. That's all my observation. How about you, Eric?
I guess my next question would be, if we don't do it this year, are we looking at a potential twice the cost of next year?
No.
So you're just shifting, well, we don't pay for it this year, but we're going to pay double it next year. Or...
No.
Okay. I mean, I would be, if it's going to save us $3,100, we need to look at that.
How about you, John?
Yeah, Jeannie, I noticed in your letter they were talking about renegotiating the actual cost, and they might have a different price. One of the things that I'm not understanding, and I never really paid a lot of attention to it, is how are they billing us? Is it take the whole total fee and divide it amongst the towns, or I think Peter mentioned, how much are we actually bringing? Are they charging us by residents or what? I mean, it seems like a lot. And we all know it's very important, but if there was a reduced rate because we're less people or something, I think it's a good idea to do, but a little more information as to how they're actually, determining that rate, and could that be reduced?
Okay, Jeannie, could you put together some sort of or have Kevin look into it, see what you can answer for these questions, and we can vote on it next week?
I will look into it. I'm not sure, Kevin. I'm not, because we're taking hazardous waste to. It's not coming to the transfer station, so I'm not sure that's something he would have an answer to. What I can do is talk to Dave Jeffers and find, to John's question, how do they come up with that number? I know it's a different number for every town. So
Okay.
Is it based on population? Tim looks like he wants to say something.
Yeah,
Tim?
I believe, my understanding in the past, it was always based on population.
So
It looks like
Okay,
Peter's
well,
agreed. Yep.
you can find out what you can find out and bring it back to us next week. We can vote on it in one way or the other, up or down.
Okay.
All right, Jeannie.
So since I have all kinds of time and you have all kinds of time, and Peter's looking up at the ceiling, I guess I'm boring him.
Any other night, we'd be out of here.
The modifications, thanks to DPW, have been made to the town clerk tax collector's office to allow for limited appointments. And we had one today and it seemed to work pretty well. You have in your packet the coronavirus weekly summary report to take a look at. As Pat mentioned earlier in my report, we got one call somebody asking about, we had been trying to delay installing the air conditioners, thinking that we were going to be past the COVID issue, but that didn't work out that way. So we spoke with the health officer to come up with a solution that would allow our DPW crew to go in safely and install the air conditioners. And they are now being installed. So if anyone's curious, we just made sure that they had respirators on. 2 DPW workers went in. We had one of the police officers, because the deal was that the resident would need to leave the apartment. DPW would go in and install the air conditioner, and a police officer would be there, just so there was no concern about I don't want to say vandalism, but you get that the resident would feel safe and we would feel safe that everything, not that we're questioning our DPW workers, because I don't mean that. I'm just saying that we just wanted to avoid that conflict. So that's what we've done. And
Jeannie, I have a question.
So far it seems to be working well. Yes, Pat.
Is the apartment corporation aware that you installed them early before June 1st?
They are. We let them know what was going on, because we had hot weather coming up. We're supposed to get into the 80s to 90s this week. We felt that was important, and they were fine with it.
Are they gonna charge for the month of May for the residents now? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Good, thanks.
Still waiting to hear from the governor's office about the extension of stay at home. I did submit an intent to apply for a historic resource project to look at the Tilton Island Bridge. I'm working on that submission of that grant application. Is due at the end of the month. Did send an email to the budget committee vice chair, inviting someone from that committee to participate in the interview of the part-time budget committee secretary. We're going to do the interviews on June 2nd. And I just wanted to bring to your attention, last week, Pat asked me a question about how much did we spend on ads. And I said at that time, $300. I was thinking that we had placed ads in the paper until I went back and Gail reminded me after she listened to the minutes that we only put it in NHMA and internally, which is what the board had directed after the discussion back and forth. So there was no $300 cost. Just want to let you know that.
Okay.
We sent a letter, or I should say, I am on the board of the New Hampshire Municipal Association, so we sent a letter to the governor proposing an emergency order relative to municipal budgets and property taxes that will give the governing body the authority to reduce or rescind appropriations and authority to transfer capital reserve fund appropriations. The letter's in your file. Tim has seen it too. I think these are a couple tools we're hoping the governor will approve, because that's going to help us and other municipalities manage our finances in the upcoming months. We did apply for the COVID-19 First Responder Stipend Program, and we should be seeing these funds in a couple weeks. Also like to mention, we ordered the American flags for Main Street from Northeast Dock and Barge out of Wolfboro. They are personally delivering them next week, and they also gave us a 10% discount. The other thing I wanted to mention, I've been getting some questions about June 2nd, which is where the supervisors of the checklist have to meet by law. And I did check with NHMA. The emergency order that the governor issued, number 43, waives the requirement that they have to be there in person. They can do that. The supervisors still must hold a session that evening, but the voters can mail in their change of registration to the clerk's office, or the clerk can provide a drop-off location. So we don't know where we're going to be on June 1st or June 4th. So we're just, I think they issued the emergency order just in case. So that's been addressed. I do know in Meredith that the supervisors are actually going to be meeting in person and in town hall there. But our supervisors of the checklist do have the authority and the ability to meet virtually if we decide the town hall still needs to be closed at that time. The other issue is town clerk tax collector asked me about June 12th, which is the deadline for candidates to file declarations of candidacy for the September primary. And again, this is covered under the emergency order number 43, where essentially they can mail in their filing. So the clerk, which would normally have to be open on that day from 3 to 5, is not required to, per the emergency order. Again, this could all change next week. Everything could be opened up, but at least we're thinking ahead. Kevin went down, took a look at the trees along the new railing, and he said it looks like there are 3 trees along the river that seem to be completely dead. So we told you that we would wait to see what flowered or bloomed or budded. And he says there, it looks like there are 3 that are dead. So wanted to bring that to your attention. Don't know if you want those, if you want to have our guys remove them, or if somebody wants to go down and confirm what Kevin believes is true.
I think that if we do remove them, I think that automatically we should replace them with the exact same thing, preferably the same size.
Well, one of the concerns that Jim Cropsey brought to my attention is with that spill, that True Green spill, he had done some soil testing on his side, and he said that the soils were impacted, and he had a concern about planting right away. So I think we would have to take a look at that ourselves. So we wouldn't want to put something in to have it die because there's too much chemical or whatever in the soil. However, I do think if those trees are dead, we should not only remove them for safety and liability issues, but just you've got a nice new railing there to have dead trees. Just, I don't think we need to have dead trees. So
That's a
if
good
in
point
fact
about
they
the
are
soil.
dead. What's that?
Very good point about the soil being impacted with that. I didn't think about that.
So I don't know if the board wants to make a decision on that tonight. If you,
Peter? Peter? Peter?
Joe, I have a time lag, so when you catch me off guard, it just gets extended. So I'm usually muted.
Okay.
Um,
What do you think
I
about
don't.
this?
I don't think we would have had impact above the river because the truck made a complete U-turn through the gate and then went flipped over, I believe. So
okay.
I would say up ground is fine. I would look at some sort of dwarf type trees, something, something with flowers maybe. That's it.
Okay. I have no preference. I don't think the trees should be, totally different from the trees that are there, certainly, but I'm not the guy to ask. How about you, Eric?
I think that when they brought the truck up, whatever chemicals were on the truck, the water impacted the soil. So I think those dead trees should be removed, and then we should wait a year or 2 before we plant anything to replace them.
John?
Yeah, I think some that we thought might have been dead actually made a good comeback, but yeah, there are a couple that definitely are dead, and they were dead before or pretty much dead before the truck even went in the river. Um, but if we're going to take them out, I'd like to make sure that we're going to remove the stumps, put the soil back, and I think it would be proper to put the same type of tree in, since all those in that whole row are the same type. It would look kind of awkward to have a couple oddballs there. And test the soil so we can get moving on it. We've got a lot of stumps sitting around town here.
Okay. So there you go, Jeannie. The trees come out, and we should figure out what kind of trees go in there. I don't even know if there's any clear answer as to what we do next. Replace them with either.
Joe, I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if it's just me.
It's stalling, Joe.
Well, I'm on the phone, so no matter what happens in the meeting app, I should be connected.
I can
Are
hear
you
you
good
better.
now? You're good now when you held your phone up.
Okay. And we'll just go with that. So, are we going to replace those trees immediately or wait?
Joe,
I think that
Jeannie.
I was going to say, we're going to have a non-public later on tonight. And I think that we want to be really cautious about spending money these days.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm a wait. How about you, Pat?
I'm take the tree down now and the
Yeah.
stump. Yes. And then we'll figure it out in non-public whether we put it back up according to money.
On the other hand,
Okay.
I'll just jump in here real quick and just offer this. And I would also try to go out and see if I could get trees donated.
Outstanding. Peter?
I'm fine with it. I would suggest you take a couple soil samples to allay any fears that fellow selectmen have on contamination from the accident, and that'll give us a good starting point.
There you go. Eric? Eric?
Sorry, I thought I unmuted myself. Take the trees down now, but wait to replace anything.
Okay. John?
Yeah, take the dead trees down and the stumps, and I think take some soil samples. The Department of Agriculture will test. You can send the dirt in to them, and they'll test it for us. I don't think they charge more than like $5-10 for it.
Okay. Thank you, John. And there you have it.
And we'll move on with the trees when we find the money for them.
Okay. There you go, Jeannie. We
All
take
right.
out the trees and wait.
Okay. So just so I want to confirm, we're going to take out the 3 trees that Kevin has determined are dead. We're going to see about testing the soil, and you are okay with me seeing if I can get 3 trees donated.
I'm okay with the donated trees. If we have to buy trees, then we have to have a discussion.
Okay.
You okay, Pat?
It,
Pat, you
Jean,
okay with that?
yeah, I'm okay with that. Can you find out how much it would cost to replace one?
Well, it's all going to depend on what size of tree you want to replace it with.
Okay.
I would want it to be a fairly, good size.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
You good with that, Peter?
I'm good.
I'm good. Eric?
I'm good. I would just say that the money that you're saving by not doing hazardous waste, you're probably looking for trees. So.
There you go. John?
Yeah, I'm good with that. We'll start the first steps and take it from there when we figure it out as we go along.
Okay.
Okay,
There
so
you go.
thank you. One more thing. So next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, I plan to take the days off.
Good.
Tim and I have been working on what we're going to present to you this afternoon or this evening for your consideration, but also the one item that we're working on, which is going to be pretty significant besides the work that we're doing on the police building, is the COVID response that we need to submit for reimbursement by June 1st. And I bring this up because Tim and I were talking, we were hoping that maybe you would consider not having a meeting next Thursday night, so that we can focus all our efforts on that, because again, I'll be out for 2 days. So when I get back, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, between the two of us, we'll be working on that. However, if you want to go ahead and have a meeting, I would just say it's probably not going to be a lot to report on my end other than the COVID work that we've been doing.
Okay. Pat, no meeting next week?
I mean,
I'm
I would
okay
say
with
this. I would say this: if there's some reason that comes up that requires you to vote on something, certainly we'll do that.
That's what
Of
I was going
course.
to say. I'm fine with that, unless there's something that we absolutely have to have.
Okay. Peter?
Ditto.
I'm the same. Eric?
Yes, I am the same.
John?
Yep, that sounds great.
Okay. So we're off next week. Jeannie, you've got about 17 minutes to kill.
I have a question.
Go, Eric.
I do, and I'm going to sound like the bad guy here. So I don't know how to properly phrase this question.
Uh-oh.
But why are we paying for installation of air conditioners in private residences?
That's a Pat question.
So years ago, about 8 or 9 years ago, we were inundated. Well, the fire department was inundated with medical calls to the apartments down on Wrinkle Village. There is no easy way to have air conditioning whatsoever because the state marshal, fire marshal, says you cannot have a air conditioner in the windows because there's no ingress and egress. They have to have two ingress and egresses. And if you have a window air conditioner, you can only have, sorry, I think Kim's coming home, so I apologize. So you cannot have a window air conditioner because it's not safe, and they can't push the window air conditioner out if there was ever an emergency to get out. The apartments are HUD subsidized, low income, very low income, in most cases, very, very low income. In order to solve the problem, fire department, town of Tilton, uh, senior committee, and health officer got together and we came up with a plan and we put it out to the public community and they donated the air conditioning. And Lowe's stepped up to the plate like no tomorrow. They automatically donated 5, and since then they've donated more and more. The public came out and they donated a lot of money, and Lowe's allowed us to buy them at cost. So we have a program where we store them at town hall, and if there's a medical need for the people at the village. There used to be upwards of 14. Now there's probably, I think, 6 to 8 people that need them. And it was the Explorers that did it at first, but then the Explorers dropped off. The availability of Explorers dropped tremendously because the amount of explorers, they all graduated from school. So then we found ourselves with the police department putting them in for us, and that was hit or miss. And then parts came back, and then parts didn't, and we were trying to buy parts, which were more expensive than to just do it ourselves. So then we asked the Board of Selectmen at the time if it would be okay if we stored them, and then Kevin's guys, just on June 1st is the week that they allow us to put that in, because the Wrinkle Village people, the corporate people, charge them an extra $35 to do these air conditioners, and they're upwards of about $400 a piece. They're standalone on the floor, and they fit into the window just right. And so, emergency-wise, all you have to do is lift the window, and it falls out. So there's no real big air conditioning installation in it. So it's been a program that we've had now for about 9 years. We bring it in. It takes about not even less than 10 minutes to go in, take it out, wheel it in, put it in the window, and out you go. And that's been a program that's been very valuable. And the decrease in the fire department medical calls there has been extreme due to that situation. So it's cut down tremendously on that incident calls. So that's really how it started. When we got there, they were putting pans of cold ice water with a fan in front of it to try to keep it below 90, above 90, excuse me.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, Eric?
It does. I just, I'm just looking at everything that we do, and it, no one comes in and installs my air conditioner, and that's all. And I understand it's, the residences are, senior citizens in most cases, and um, just looking at where we're spending money. That's all.
Okay. I would agree, except for I would make the statement that not everybody lives at New Franklin Apartments has wrinkles or is old. And so to characterize it as Wrinkle Village might be offensive to some.
And am I
Okay,
correct?
Jamie.
I'm sorry, Joe. Am I correct, Pat, that this, other than our crew being used, is it costing us anything other than the labor
No,
of?
no,
Okay,
it's not costing anything, because if we need an air conditioner, I send out a letter to if we need, if the air conditioners are no longer effective, I send out a letter to the newspaper. We have an air conditioning fund. The money comes into town hall. We have enough. Lowe's has been generous enough to sell them to us for at cost. And I might add, they're not just any air conditioner. We have to really be careful about the ones that stand on the floor, and they have to have an intake and an exhaust, because some of them deplete the oxygen in the room, and some of them are on oxygen. So we have to be very careful of which ones we use. And sometimes they're between $400 and $499, and people really couldn't afford that. So over the years, it's been the most we've ever done at one time. Early on was about 14, and now we have maybe, I think, 8, Gail said last year, that we had, and we keep a running total of it. And these are medically necessity. These aren't just, I'd like an air conditioner, and because I'm hot. These are, we have doctors' letters from these people, and so on.
Pat, am I
Yep.
correct in assuming that this program would be available to other Tilton residents who had the same kind of medical issues, even if they don't live at New Franklin Apartments?
Yes, it is, Joe. It absolutely is. If we have and again, it's first come, first serve. We have a certain amount of air conditioners. Nobody has really, there's only been 2 in the past years that have partaked, other than New Franklin Apartments. and on an ongoing basis, and both of those people have passed away, unfortunately, and so nobody else has said I a medically necessity and gone and put an air conditioner in the room. So, and it's a very different situation for them because, see, here you have to have a floor model. In other people within the town, you could probably get away with a window air conditioner, which we have downstairs that people have donated that are used.
Okay. Are there any other questions about that program?
And
Hearing none.
some of them I put in myself. If I'm available and not working, I do the installation myself.
Okay. And thank you for that, Pat. 8 minutes, Jeannie.
If I could just let you all know that all the documents are in the Sign Now account for you.
Okay. So here we are.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Selectman Scanlon.
So about 3 years ago, we got a 5-gallon jug of D11. It's a specialized stuff that we did the research for cleaning the statues. And it's going to all be used up on Saturday, but we still have another statue to clean as well as any other granite things. And I believe it was under $100 if we could purchase another 5-gallon jug to keep our statues from deteriorating. I'd like to do that. I can come back with a price next. Well, if it's under $100, could we do that?
Tim, do we have $100?
How
Yes.
long does it last us, John?
It should last at least a year and maybe 2 years.
So, Tim, do we have $100?
Yes, we do.
Well, there you go, John. And I'm a yes. Pat,
I'm a yes.
Peter,
I'm a wait 1 year.
how about you, Eric?
I would say wait.
John?
I think we should buy it, and if you don't want to, I'll pay for it out of my pocket. I've been cleaning the statues at no charge or anything to the town, and they do deteriorate if we don't take care of them.
I'll split it with
Agreed.
you, John. I'll split it with you.
Tell you what, I'll kick in on that too.
Okay, I'll figure out, and I can order it up, and whoever wishes to contribute.
Yes, let us know how much it is.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and so that takes care of that. You could save your $100, Tim.
Candy.
Yeah,
So we
absolutely.
have
And that'll
5
be,
minutes.
seems like 6. John, that would be stored at Public Works.
Well,
Where does it get stored?
well, I mean, we can store it there. I've had it sitting at my place, but I'd be glad to store it at Public Works so I don't have to pick up more valuable space.
Well, there you go. Not that the only thing you use it for is the statues, and thank you very much for that. So whatever you want to do. I've got 5:55. You guys realize that when we open this at 6 o'clock, we have to wait for an hour, and we have nothing left on the agenda but other business. It's gonna be a long hour, kids.
We can pull up some trivia off the internet.
You know, I don't see anybody here for the public meeting, but we still have 4 minutes. So
We do have a caller on.
excellent.
And for your public meeting, I don't believe there's a requirement to hold it open an hour.
No, I don't think so either. That's only if you got the polls open.
Hearing. Yep.
And there is no polls, so.
You must all be
3.5
very busy
minutes.
signing documents.
Yeah.
No. But I'll be signing those documents right after the meeting. So after our non-public, I guess this is a question for Jeannie. After our non-public, we still have to come back into public session and seal the minutes and motion to adjourn, correct?
Yes. So what we thought was because I'm here doing the meeting, that all of you could call in for the meeting and then conclude it at that point, and I can end it here in my office.
Okay. 2.5 minutes. How's the police station coming? Anybody been over there?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
looks
Pretty nice, huh? Looks
Yep.
a lot different.
Get
Very
there.
nice.
I posted some pictures on the Facebook page for the building committee.
I saw that with the drone.
Yeah.
Nice pictures too.
Well, I'm hoping that we'll get some more excitement where you can actually notice changes. Drove by it today. They were dumping sand in the foundation. So.
Oh, nice.
I have a
Truck that
question
landed.
regarding the police building.
Peter.
Yeah, back in February, we had $25,000 pledged to the police building. Could we get an update to see if they've raised any other funds?
Is the chief on the call?
I am, Jeannie. I'm here. I talked with Gary the other day, and he was going to work with you and I to come up with those places where we could have some sponsorship opportunities like tiles and bricks. And so he was going to work up some suggestions and get back to both of us with it. And in the meantime, I haven't talked with Dennis to see how he's doing on his end with MB Tractor. I know he did reach out to him, and the other businesses, they do want to donate, but during this whole COVID thing, they've kind of put everything on the back burner. But I'd like to get started on it, in the next couple of weeks.
Please.
Joe, I have a question.
Pat, go ahead.
I may be missing this because I'm really totally screwed up tonight, but I don't see a non-public special number to get into. Is it just the same as what we got now?
It is.
No, it's not.
It isn't.
No. So I sent you, I'm glad you asked that question then. I'm hoping when I sent you the email, I said that because of the non-public, of the nature of the non-public, Tim and I felt it was important to do a face-to-face. So we're asking you, when we go into the non-public, to come to town hall. And we will meet downstairs 6 feet apart and have this discussion. And then after the non-public, you'll get on your phone, enter back into this meeting and adjourn it.
So you want me to drive from here down to town hall and talk about what you want to talk, and then so my non-public can be down there face to face as well?
Yes, because it's about, yes, it's the same topic, I think.
Got it. All right, so I wasn't really screwing up. Okay.
I'll
Okie
come pick you.
dokie.
I'll come pick you up, Pat.
You guys could work that out afterwards because the time being 6 p.m., we will begin the public meeting about installing speed bumps on Peabody Street. A couple weeks ago, the selectmen had a discussion about whether to put speed bumps on Peabody Street. Chief Cormier and Director of Public Works, Duval, were also part of the discussion. After some conversation, the selectmen felt it was important that the residents on Peabody Street weigh in. Ads were placed in the Daily Sun, in the Winnisquam Echo, and notices were delivered to each resident by the police department. The notice also included a tear-off at the bottom that the resident could write in if they supported speed bumps or not, and send that to Town Hall. We did this in case the resident was not able to participate in tonight's meeting. This office receives one response from the notice. So, with all that being said, is there any public out there? I see Dwayne and Robert. Dwayne, do you have anything you'd like to contribute to this conversation? You have to unmute your microphone, Dwayne. Well, so far that he's still having trouble with that. How about you, Robert? Would you like to say something? Well, if they get
Yes.
their
Guys,
hello. Well, if they'd like to get if they can fix their technological issues, we can come back to them. But Pat Constantino, would you like to address this issue?
No, I'm fine with it as long as the like I said before, as long as the residents are okay with it, I am absolutely fine with it.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Are we proposing one or two speed bumps, please?
I think it was for 2. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct too.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. If the residents are in favor of the having the speed bumps on Peabody Street,
hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Rob Lemieux. I live on Peabody Street, and yeah, I'm all for having the speed bumps. We get a lot of cars that, when school's in session, usually right after the cars just fly right up the road, and we have on this street, and I'm concerned that one of these days, one of those kids is going to get hit by a car. So we really need to do something about that.
Thank you, Robert.
Did we lose Joe?
We may have.
Pat, you might have to take over.
Is there anybody else here that would like to speak on the Peabody Street?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you state your name and where you live?
Sure. My name is Matt Jewell, 10 Peabody Street, and we do want the speed bumps.
Can you tell us a little bit about why?
Because the cars that come screaming up through the street, especially right after school, I've got 2 high schoolers that I don't want to anything like that.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Joe, you back on?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead, take it over.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. Is there any other members of the public that would like to address this issue?
Yeah, I've got a
Dwayne, do you-
question.
What's your question?
I think Dwayne was trying to get in. I'll let him go first.
Okay, Dwayne, would you like to speak to this?
Yeah, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties over at my yard. So, yeah, so I noticed, as far as the speed bump, we've been talking about it for a long time. I appreciate everything that the town has been doing as far as, trying to get this taken care of and everything. I mean, we all know the way things are, especially during a quote unquote normal school year, how much this road becomes the first raceway off of Route 3 right here. Yesterday was a prime example. We had the parade going on and everything, and everybody was cutting down here. I'm on 4 Peabody Street, which is actually the first, aside from Carol Chase's house, which isn't technically Peabody Street, but I'm the first house there. And they're able to get, at least up to 20 to 30 miles an hour by the time they hit my house. So me personally, I would like to have one put in the front of my house. Because I think it's kind of the beginning point, and I hope that it will definitely deter people from being able to gain any additional speed, coming off of that main road.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Is there anybody else?
Joe?
Peter.
Yeah. First off, I think the answer is no. Do we have them in stock? Second would be the cost. And I think for 2, Tim, would they be around 1,500? Weren't they something like 700 a piece?
That sounds about right. I'd have to look up the last time we bought them, but it's in that neighborhood, yes.
$750, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Eric?
I thought I heard Kevin say he had extras in stock.
I was under the impression that he had some too, but maybe not.
Yeah, I was told we have them, Joe.
There you go. Chief just says we have them in stock, so that would negate the $1,500.
Joe, I think
Yes.
that the public on the residents on Peabody Street need to realize that they come up in the winter time. The ones that we're planning to put down come up in the winter time, just so that they know. But then they'll go back down in the spring.
Right. That's totally understandable. We know that. That's fine.
Right. But it is effective. The ones that we have put it on Daniel Drive and Chestnut, it's very effective.
Yeah, because
Okay,
typically
thank
they're coming down Peabody Street, turning right on Winter, and then hitting Chestnut Street right after that. So that's the whole dragway right there.
All right. I noticed that Sarah Havelock has joined us. Sarah, would you like to speak to this?
Yes, I'm a resident. I live on Peabody Street, and this has been a problem for years. When my kids were little, I'd sit out there when and yell at cars because they'd be flying up the street. It's always been an issue. And it still is. The most dangerous time is after school from about 2:30 to 5 when kids are, and I don't want to say it's just the kids because it's not, there are adults who do it too because I see them speeding by, and I think speed bumps would be a good idea.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak to this issue? I think with the selectmen, I left off with you, Eric. Would you like to speak to this issue?
No, I mean, I am in favor of them, so that's fine. And seeing
Okay.
that
How about
David
you?
is in favor of them.
Okay. How about you, John? John?
He's
John?
muted. He's
There we
muted.
go. Yeah, yeah, there we go. You can hear me now.
All right.
Yeah, since we already have them, I think they do better on the street than sitting in the garage. And I think there's some uh, there are some paving options that I've seen numerous places that it's about a 4 foot long speed bump that they use in a couple other places, communities I've seen that allow for snow plowing that way since it's 4 foot. And um, I'll take some pictures of them for Kevin. But yeah, to get started, I think the speed bumps are great.
Okay. Thank you, John. Are there any other members of the public that would like to weigh in on this issue?
I would like to weigh in on a separate issue, still pertaining to traffic, though. This is Matt Jewell, 10 Peabody Street.
Okay.
I've been noticing a lot of vehicles coming down the wrong direction, opposite of the one-way. I don't know if there's anything we can do to fix that also.
Chief?
Yeah, I'm on, Joe. Yeah, do you know what times you're seeing that? Is there a particular time, or is it all over the block when it's happening?
It's all over the place. It can be late at night. It can be early in the morning. I know there's signs at the end of the street that say, do not enter, but maybe we can have some down off of Route 3 also that just say do not enter. I don't know how to suggest for it, I guess.
Hi,
Yeah.
Okay, well,
thank you for bringing that up. I was actually thinking the same thing as well. I was wondering if we could get a one-way sign, something that's very clear, one way with an arrow. I know sometimes I'll have someone will deliver something to my house, and then when they leave, go back the opposite way, and I have to yell out to them like, "Hey, you're going the wrong way," because I don't think it's very clear.
okay. We can get with, when we do these speed bumps, we can get with the director of public works.
Yeah, this is Dwayne Otha from 4 Peabody Street. There is actually a one-way sign right now at the corner of 3 and Peabody Street as you enter onto Peabody Street. So there is that one sign. I can't recall. I can look down there right now if there's a do not enter sign at Nate's house or so I don't know. I mean, from what I see and everything is that it's typically coming from one residence who is not technically Peabody Street, but on the corner of Peabody Street. That's typically where they're going to. I don't want to name any names because I know we don't like doing that.
I know what they mean.
I know you guys all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Okay, so Chief, would you take a look at that to make sure it's clearly defined and clearly marked out, and then maybe do some enforcement in that area?
Yes, I'll do all of that, Joe. I'll have the officers go up there and do some patrols just for those one-way violations, and I'll also meet with Kevin and take another look at the signage and see if there's anything we can do to improve that. Maybe some signage mid-block that says wrong way for the people going the wrong direction. But I'll do all of that, and they should see some patrols out there after we hang up.
Alrighty.
Chief Chief and the Selectmen, we could actually put one of those collapsible spike strips. That would be a great idea.
Yeah. Well, it would be effective, that's for sure.
If you
Is there
can
any other
if you
comments from
can get them to
the public?
agree,
Okay, hearing none. I would make a motion to have the Director of Public Works install 2 speed bumps on Peabody Street at locations that, working with the police department, he will think would be most effective. Is there any second?
Ira second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other selectmen that would like to make a comment at this time? Yeah, I'm waiting for you, Peter. I know it's slow over there.
he's all set.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Constantino, yes.
Bog, yes.
Jessamine, yes. Pyra.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
You have your speed bumps on Peabody Street. I can't tell you what time they're going to be there, but they're coming.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all very much.
Very much. It'll make our street a lot safer. We really appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Okay. So now, if there's no other questions from the public for the selectman or the town administrator or the chief of police or for the IT guy, I would like to say at the time being 6:18 p.m., I'd like to make a motion to move into non-public session for RSA 91-A, semicolon 3, paragraph 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such employee or the investigation of any charges against them. Do I have a second?
Bog, second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I can't seem to find how we're going to do this. I don't see. Is
John,
there
you're
a
gonna
rule?
I'm going to explain that to you in just 1 second, John.
Okay.
Roll call vote.
Constantino, yes.
Bog, yes.
Bog. Jessamine is a yes. Eric.
Ira, yes.
John.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay. I'd like to remind the selectmen to meet in 10 minutes approximately at Town Hall, first floor meeting room. Okay? And we are in recess until Town Hall.
Okay, got it.
And for the general public, just let me say we will be coming back into session at the end of the non-public session at that time. Thank you all very much.
Do we leave the feed up?
Now I'm leaving the meeting and I'll meet you down there.
Okay.
Them to connect back in here.
Do you have that list of
You want the actual list?
the ones we approved?
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Let's see. Print.
Oh, I didn't know everyone's be looking at my chicken scratch.
Is everybody here?
I'm here.
Okay, I hear Pat, I hear Eric.
Selectman Scanlon, I'm here.
Where's the
Okay.
chocolate? That's what I want to know.
Jeannie's office.
Oh,
Come and get some,
Cut the
Jack.
chocolate budget.
Yes.
I wouldn't read that.
Okay. All right, everybody get away from each other. Okay. Now, all the selectmen are currently on the line, correct?
correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, we're now back in public session. I would like to make the following announcement. Well, first off, let me say that I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel issues permanently. Is there a second?
Constantino, second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, roll call vote. Constantino.
Yes.
Bog.
Yes.
Jessamine is yes. Pyra.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, I would like to announce at this time that the selectmen have decided to, well, exactly how do I put this?
Budget transfer.
We've decided to budget transfer amounts out of certain lines. First off, we've transferring $5,000 from maintenance performed by Public Works. Those are part-time people. We're transferring $1,600 from Knocker Ball events canceled by the company for 2020. We're transferring $9,900 out of Public Works. We're transferring $4,208 out of police part-time wages. We're transferring $16,532 out of merit line. And we're transferring $3,121 out of household hazardous waste collection for a total of $40,361. We are doing this in response to a decrease in our revenues due to COVID-19. At this point, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Constantino, second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Constantino.
Yes.
Bog. Jessamine, yes. Pyra.
Ira, yes.
Scanlon.
Scanlon, yes.
Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.